Detox, everybody. It is time for another Talking with Topher. This is episode 287, and it's October 2nd, 2025. And as always, I am happy and surprised we are still alive. Before I get into anything today, let me start off the way I always do by saying thank you. Thank you to all of my subscribers out there. You are the reason I keep coming back week after week. If you're new, remember to subscribe. If you want your opportunity to tell your story or be a guest on the podcast, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com is the official email of the podcast to send an audio, video, or type it out. Linktree link is in the description below the video, along with all of the links discussed on today's podcast. Don't forget about Cryptid and Kin. Go follow. And of course, the mailbox guys. Go and follow them and order your new mailbox today. All right, I'm wearing the new fall line shirt. Really nice, comfy, excited for the cooler weather, and it just makes digging a little bit easier out there when it's not as hot. So getting excited for the seasons to change. As for myself, what's going on here? All kinds of projects today. It is Labor Day, right? Yeah, I think it's Labor Day, so we got the day off. I'm getting an extra episode recorded. And I'm going to go get some shit done, everybody. I'm very excited. I got a lot of stuff to jump into, so here you go. So my first thing that I'm jumping into today is creatine, everybody. Who is using creatine? I love it. I use it all the time. If you know anything about it, then you know. Most people are on a regimen of 5 milligrams for muscle growth, and they are doing some amazing studies on brain absorption of creatine now. Your muscles produce it, your brain produces it. We produce a lot of creatine naturally in the body. So the 5 milligrams and almost all the research that we have today is based off of muscle only, building muscle, blah, 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 blah. So, what I have here is you'll get the link down below. I'm not going to play anything from this, but I do want you to see it's Dr. Rhonda Patrick. Great doctor. I've been listening to her for over a decade now, I believe. Great information, great listen, and always doing her own research and looking into everybody else's. So, that being said, it's all the stuff what men and women need to know about creatine. She talks about the weight gain for women. She talks about the muscle gain and for men and women, and also about the new studies that show the absorption into the brain when you have a overabundance of creatine. Not like anything else that we produce in our body. Maybe it's closer to DMT than it is to anything else that we produce in our body, because you can take DMT and you're not going to overproduce DMT in your body. Creatine is basically right around the same thing. There are some side effects. Of course, there's side effects with anything that you take if you take too much of it, but they're not going to kill you, side effects, which is nice. So I compare this to like an ivermectin, all right? It's something that's been around for a very long time. It's basically harmless, and now they are just finding out that it can do much, much more for us. And if you want to give the whole podcast a listen, you'll have to find it. But this was the 23-minute or 24-minute clip that they cut out just on the creatine. Great listen. Check it out. The studies that they're doing today is what it's all about, everybody. If we keep looking at what it was, then we'll never know what it can be. And now we're finding out that it's so much more than it ever was, right? It's just, it's amazing to see that we can use something like this to help enhance our brains. I find it very exciting. Now, my next thing is that I talked about the solar system moving so fast that we don't feel it. Well, there's some videos out there, and I know that everything out there can be questioned, which is why I always say, click the link below, question it, look into it yourself. But this was something that came up, and it kind of goes over the fact of how we are, spinning out of control, basically, and none of us feel like we're moving, right? I'm just sitting here at the table. Nothing's going anywhere. My coffee's sitting in the cup till I put it in my mouth. So let's check this video out and see what's going on here, because I, too, believe that there's a little bit more to this than what they keep telling us, because I'm just, how is it possible? Let's find out.
At the exact same time every single day over a 3-year period. Look at this. Look at this. This is the movement. Now, imagine seeing this. Imagine seeing this with your own 2 eyes, your own senses and everything, and then still thinking that this is what's really going on. We're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, orbiting the sun at 66.6 thousand miles per hour, and also hurtling through space at 1,000,000 kilometers per hour. Bro, like, do you guys have any sort of logic whatsoever? Can you use critical thinking at all? Can you use your own 2 eyes? Because I don't think you can. Here is the planet Venus traced in the night sky over an 8-year period. Every 8 years, this is what it does. And you guys think that we're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, orbiting the sun at 66,000 miles per hour, also hurtling through space at 1,000,000 miles per hour. This is what it does every 8 years. Perfect, mathematically precise, sacred geometry created by God. Just like all of nature creates mathematically precise, sacred geometry. This is the intelligent mind of the creator. What this lie is selling you is no creator. There is no God. This came from a big bang. Everything is, we're just hurling through space. It's all just this big coincidence. This, order came from chaos. Makes zero fucking sense. Wake up. This is Polaris, the North Star. It doesn't move. It does not move. It stays fixed and stationary in the night sky for fucking ever. It never moves. The stars around it do perfect circles. They do perfect circles around Polaris that never moves. But you guys think that we are spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, orbiting the sun once again and hurling through space. If that was the case, Polaris, it's impossible that Polaris would be stationary. It's also impossible that the fucking stars would do perfect circles around Polaris. The stars would do all sorts of crazy patterns. All sorts of crazy patterns. You just need to think. That's all you need to do is think. But you guys don't know how to think. All you do is know how to regurgitate what you've been told your whole entire lives, what you've been programmed to believe, and you've been programmed to believe a fucking lie. Think about this. If you truly believe that this is going on and Polaris stays fixed in the night sky, it stays stationary, and all the stars do perfect circles around it, but we're really doing this, you are very, very, very stupid. You constantly laugh in your face by putting the shit in the media, putting it right in front of your eyes, making movies about the dome and all this. Like, it's right in front of you. All of our ancient ancestors knew the truth.
Like I said, I think it was a couple weeks ago at this point, how is it possible that we are in this crazy, uncontrollable, unimaginable speeds of rotation and things don't move the way that they should? I don't think we're wrong or crazy for questioning this. I think the fact that they call us crazy for questioning this sends out the signal that we need to be questioning this. Because if they just keep pointing and saying, oh, look at these people, crazy, huh? Well, then there's no room for discussion. You can't open it because, just a crazy person. But he's right. North Star does not move. Stars circle around them. Now, the geological pattern or geometrical pattern that Saturn makes, or whatever that was, I don't know about that. Maybe. I don't know. That's something I've never heard of before. But, I mean, if it makes a certain pattern, if stars are rotating around Polaris, which is the North Star, and it never moves and it's fixed, how are we going anywhere close to the speeds that they say that we are going? How are we moving the way that they say that we are moving when nothing seems to line up with what they're saying it is? It just keeps me questioning what it actually is going on here because it doesn't line up. It doesn't line up with what they keep telling us. So I don't know if certain things that he talked about on here are 100% true, but there are some things that I point out and I go, hey, that's not wrong. And yeah, what is it? Fixed within us? So now you're going to say that this thing is fixed on us and it's rotating at the exact same as us? Now it just sounds like you're reaching at straws. So I don't believe we are crazy for questioning this. I think it's crazy that we haven't questioned it for so long, which is why I believe this story and this narrative of a dome and flat have been around for so long, because it just keeps getting suppressed. But why? Right? But why? Well, because they truthfully do believe that if we were to ever find out about this, it would break society. What they don't understand is if we all found out, I'm pretty sure most of us would just be excited to finally know. And the other half would kind of be in shock if it wasn't exactly how it was how they were told. And then there's probably some that won't be able to handle it at all. But to say that all of society could never handle it, I think that's crazy to say, because that's so untrue. That's so untrue. But I wanted to kind of touch back on this because there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't make a lot of sense when they tell me that we're supposed to be rotating and spinning at certain speeds. Well, explain more, please. Elaborate for me. You know what I mean? Now, the Star of David never existed. So, a lot of stuff on the Star of David, where it originated from, and there's a lot more history to it than I ever knew. Like I said, I don't really look into the history of religion because religion is a giant turnoff for me, and I don't really care for it because it's used more for control than anything else. But when we have stuff going on and it's really getting pointed out that they are not as nice and holy as they have been portraying themselves, or as these victims, may I say, as much as I've been told, right? It's starting to come to light. I don't know. Maybe there was a reason why they were depicted the way that they were depicted in old shows, movies, and books and stuff. You know? I'm starting to really believe that depiction of a Jew was accurate because that's how everybody saw them. And they were, and still are, evil people. I don't know. Let's see what's up with the Star of David.
Hot take. The Star of David never existed. In fact, it's always been an occultic symbol that got a PR brand. Let me show you. Long before the Star of David existed, this six-pointed star was linked to Saturn worship and Remphan, and here's the first account of it ever existing. The Gezer Bowl is the first occurrence of the Star of David, but hold up, it was found in Canaan. And which gods did they worship? Oh yeah, that's right, Molech and Remphan. If you don't know, Molech and Remphan are pretty good buddies, and Molech was the god of child sacrifice, not a great guy to hang out with. Around the same time, we can see it in India, and it starts to symbolize fire and water, the two interlocking triangles, and it says, so as above, so below. The first time we see it related to Judaism isn't until 1st to 4th century, and this is actually on tombstones in synagogues where they also have the occult five-pointed star as well. Now, you might be interested in knowing that the actual star of Remphan, there was a coin on one side, it was a five-sided pentagram, and on the other, a six-sided star. Around the 17th and 19th centuries, we actually see it appear again, though in red, and it's the Rothschild family crest. They commissioned a competition in 1897 to determine what should be the leading symbol of Zionism. It's not the state of Israel, because the state of Israel did not exist yet. What does the Bible say about this? Well, Amos 5:26 says, you took up the star of Chion. Who is Chion? Well, it's the next stage of Remphan again. So it's still the star of Remphan. Amos drives home this point in 742 when he says, you brought the shrine of Moloch and the star of your god Remphan. Steve later quotes him when he protests a church that does this exact same thing. And what do? They martyr him shortly after. He becomes the first martyr because he protested against this six-pointed star. Now, I was told by many Christians who I love, family even, that I was wrong for protesting this same six-sided star in church. But why is it in church? I didn't even see a cross in sight, actually, but I did see the Israeli flag being flown in our church. Let's be clear, that's the Star of Remphan. I've shown it all the way through. It was never anything else until in 1897, it was decided it was the Star of David.
So the Star of David did not exist until 1897. Huh. I mean, that's crazy, right? Think about all the symbols we've talked about on here and how they've meant something completely different, or they've been turned into something that they weren't, or they were turned into something that were supposed to be looked at as evil. What does it all mean? I don't know. I don't know what it all means, but it is very interesting that they would use this star as the Star of David, this Jewish thing that was taken from something else that meant, I don't know, probably something way more, something better. And what is with all the Saturn worship, huh? I don't know. There's something about Saturn, though. The black box, the star. They really had their fixation on Saturn, didn't they? It's very interesting to me. So, why did El Chapo's wife return to court wearing a Star of David? I just thought this was interesting because why is the Mexican cartel connection? What is their connection to Israel, right? Somebody said that the connection became obvious when dozens of Mexican presidential candidates were gunned down by the cartels so they could install their Jewish lady friend. So, could be a little bit more of a darker side. The connection is 30-plus president runners dead until the Jewish lady got elected. So, they're saying that the cartels set it up this way. Something happened between the cartels and Israel, and now the cartels are showing their support for Israel. So I don't think this is far from the truth. I really don't. I think they are evil, everybody. And if they are evil, they will use evil means to get what they want. And who's the evilest one on the planet right now? Who's somebody you don't want to fuck with? Well, next to the U.S. government, military, army, It's the cartel. It's the cartel. If there was any group on this planet that could give the U.S. military a run for its money, I do believe it would be probably China and then the cartel. Like, so, I mean, if Israel is the sleeping giant that I keep speaking of, well, who better to have in your corner than the sneakiest friggin' group of people you've ever met? I mean, the cartel gets you no matter where you are. You don't get away from the cartel. So, at the end of the day, I mean, that's probably the person you really want on your side, right? I mean, I got lots of friends that I'm so glad are on my side. I've always had good judgment of people that do bad things, that if I treat well, they protect me. So you had to find protection when you were in jail and shit. And you make friends, man. And you get what you need. You know what I mean? I was never a person who could fight, but I was definitely somebody who could, help somebody else out. And don't get weird on me, everybody, all right? I was in jail. You didn't have to worry about that shit. It's more of a joke, I guess. The reality in there is that it doesn't just happen because it's going to happen. Maybe in actual prison it does, but not the county farm, everybody. It's not the same there. It may have changed over the years, maybe with overpopulation, but I mean, those are the people you want on your side. The people that are willing to basically do anything. Yeah. So if Israel is that sleeping giant I was talking about, the cartel would make a great right hand, right? I'm telling you, something's happening, everybody. Something's happening. Now, have you heard of the Rebbe? I have not really heard of the Rebbe, but this looked very interesting to me, so I wanted to hear all about it. And I'm pretty sure this goes right down the same path we were already on, where you find out something that's a little bit more darker than what they've told us about this religion. I'm telling you. All religions, I don't care. I'll tear mine apart too. They're all dark, everybody. They're all dark. They're all based off of, murder and being forced upon people. So
have you ever heard of the Rebbe?
No.
So this man started this sect of Orthodox Judaism.
Mm-hmm.
So this man was the rabbi of it. He became a mentor and friend of Netanyahu, Israel's U.S. ambassador. The Rebbe was speaking to Netanyahu. This was in the 80s. And he said, this is quote, "Since we last met, many things have progressed. What hasn't changed, however, is that the Messiah still hasn't come. So do something to hasten his coming." A couple years later, when they met up, he told Netanyahu that he would one day become prime minister of Israel and be the nation's last leader before handing the scepter to the Messiah. 2009, became prime minister and was elected out in 2021. But then a few months later, he was reinstated, and this time he fully aligned himself with the ultra-Orthodox and the Zionists. A lot of them are very anti-Palestinian residing within Israel. If we're talking about the temple being rebuilt, Muslims having claim of the Dome of the Rock on the Temple Mount, the Zionist party wants that out of there. Netanyahu has definitely aligned himself with the Zionist party.
Yeah, and if it gets touched, war.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Holy
So
war.
everything's kind of...
see, everybody, that's what I'm talking about. Dark. They get in deep. They make things happen. And everything that's happening today is because of the Rebbe getting the ball rolling and all of those things happening and him getting that chair. I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think that Netanyahu's a good person. Actually, Did you see the war? It's not even a war crime. Was it like rape or something? It's terrible, man. He even steps foot, I think, in any country right now, and he could be arrested. So I don't think he's traveling anywhere. But I mean, is that like, our priests and stuff that we have, shifted off? And where did they go? Where do they go? The synagogue, right? Wherever we throw them. Like, I just feel like it's a situation like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know if anything's ever going to come of this. I don't know if they're ever going to do anything about what they're trying to, put him in court for. But I mean, he's not a good person, everybody. If this hasn't shined the light on Israel as being this thing that is not what we were told it was, I'm not going to say the same things that guy said in his video. I thought he was a little harsh calling everybody stupid. I don't think you're stupid. I just don't know what it's going to take for you to wake up a little bit more and take a look and I don't know, get angry about the simple fact that everything that they've told us is bullshit. You know what I mean? I think that's where I'm at. I'm just at the point where I just can't believe there's just so much bullshit, So let's see what's going on here. Bloodlines of the Beast. King James Bible front cover, Masonic symbolism. Gods of Mystery.
Who translated the King James Authorized Version? Rosicrucians and Freemasons. Yeah, and once you understand, wait a minute, the Bible is a Masonic book. Of course it's a Masonic book. How many people know that the symbols in Islam are taken directly out of the Old Testament Bible? And that Mecca is the black cube of Freemasonry. Mecca is a black square. Look it up. The planet Saturn. Saturn was referred to as the black cube. And the more they pray, the more blood is spilled. The more violence and bloodshed builds each day. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And the more they pray, the worse it gets. And Christians all over the world are praying to God's Son, the light of the world, and they have no idea what they're praying to. They have no concept of the world, of what they're praying to, and consequently, all of the evil is winning. Good people are losing. Knights Templars, Masonic, Freemasons are winning. They're controlling the world. Why? Because we're worshiping the wrong God. Because we don't understand what the symbols mean. Because we walk right past the truth sitting right in front of us and end up worshiping something that the Knights Templars have given us to worship. And therefore, we haven't got the faintest idea in the world what's going on.
This sounds so real to me. It sounds so real to me. It really makes me feel better about my choices about religion. It really does. I'm sorry. It may be that I'm just feeding myself the information that I want to hear, but I don't believe that to be true because I listen to so much all over the place that it really does have me going back and forth. But if they dictated what the Bible said, and if the Bible was a Masonic book, which means if you pray to the God in that book, which Jesus, God, all the praying that we do at church, then we're praying to the wrong God, and we are actually summoning our demise. Oh man, are we having fun yet? What? Gee, so okay, so now I understand. Now I understand why the church is evil, but believing in God is not. Because when you believe in the church and you pray to the book, you're praying to Satan. and you're actually summoning our demise. But if you just believe in God on your own without the establishment of a church and the book, you actually go with the book of Enoch or earlier version of the Bible, then and only then you are supposedly praying to the one and true God that created us. I think I just connected the dots. Miguela, leave a message. Did I get it? What the fuck, everybody? This shit, wild. Come on. Are we not having fun? I just blew my own mind. This is crazy. All right, so more of the bloodlines of the beast. We need to stop giving dictators more power, although I believe the opposite. We should leave the dictators alone because, I mean, Gaddafi. I'm just saying. You want me to add in another one? It begins with an H. Things were not exactly how we were told. I'm not 100% convinced anymore that what we did was right. Here we go.
We need to stop supporting dictators and Israel. The American taxpayer is paying $30,000 a year for every Israeli man, woman, and child, and most of that money is going into military spending and the repression of the Palestinians, which produces refugees. There are over 40 dictators in the world. The United States loves all of them, except for two, North Korea and Cuba. And Cuba is a good example of the ideological insanity of the United States. Saudi Arabia is the devil. Israel is the devil. Germany and France, for lacking ethics, are the little devils, okay? The United States of America and the bankers are the primary source of support for all dictators on the planet. The common enemy for all people is the deep state that starts with the Rothschilds and the banks and then goes down through the corrupt political systems in every country. These elections are all frauds. The fix is in and the decision's already made, and then goes down through the corporations and the media.
And I don't know. We probably should stop supporting dictators, but I mean, do we really support any dictators? I don't think we really support them. Maybe we do. I don't know. I am not in this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I will say that I treat politicians like I treat actors and actresses. I don't know their names, can't remember them, and I really don't give a shit because half of the time I vote for who sounds better or who leans a little bit closer to what I would want for all of us, and they never do it. So does it really fucking matter if I know their names or what they're standing for today? Because none of them stand by their word. But we definitely need to stop supporting Israel. Rothschilds, again. The bankers, again. All of it is just always leading back to that. It always leads back to that, which leads us back to the Masons and the rewriting of history. I can't believe they're the ones that translated the Bible. That still blows my fucking mind. Has anybody else translated the original Bible since then? Or did they completely destroy it and we have no way of ever finding out what they actually translated and turned into what we know today? Still blows my mind, man. All right, let's get a little bit more into the deep state, see where this takes us. It's a continuation of this bloodlines because I want this to be true, everybody. This is my Bigfoot.
Central banks of every country in the world are under the control of the Rothschilds, the Vatican, and the Chabad Jews. The leaders of these central banks are hand-picked and approved by the Rothschilds. The same is true of most bankers. For instance, the major leaders of Morgan Guarantee and Citibank and Goldman Sachs and so forth, these people are all approved by the Rothschilds, the Vatican, and the Chabad Jews. They are not elected. They are not selected on merit. They're selected on the basis of being loyal to the deep state. People need to understand that the deep state is above governments. The deep state essentially consists of the Rothschilds and the Vatican, including both the Black Pope and the White Pope, as well as the Chabad Jews. They use the Freemasons and the Knights of Malta at the highest levels as their fixers, and they use world banks as their managers. Most governments have two parties that are elected by 30% of the public. The other 70% of the public is disenfranchised. The politicians and the military leaders and the bankers at the national level are the best of the servant class. They comprise the shadow government, but they are not the deep state. They are the servants of the deep state.
Dude, what? Do you see where this is going, everybody? Right back to the Jews. Always. Freemasons. The deep state. It's so much deeper. It's so deep. Why don't you just call it the Wizard of Oz? I mean, this goes so far back and so many roots in everything. And I mean, we're never going to be able to change the way it is today. So what are we going to get if we expose what they've done to us? I think I'm going to feel better. I will feel better when, they have to admit that they did all this. I mean, the banking system is terrible, everybody. It's terrible. Look at the way we do everything. And then you look at the way it could have been, or the way it would have benefited us so much more. And you're just like, man, I think we messed up. We missed it. We definitely missed it. So, has anybody heard of this? Person contracts new world screwworm of flesh eating parasitic larva. Yay! We're bringing back bubonic plague, and now we have flesh-eating parasitic larva. You want to see it? This guy's so cute. Check him out. He's ready to say hello. There he is. Oh, my God. Do you see? Oh, do you see it? Oh, my God. It's so crazy to me. What is that? What is that? Where did it come from? Where did that come from? I don't understand. So just to read in a little bit, the person was not identified, had traveled to the U.S. from El Salvador. Department of Health Services spokesman said, initially it was said that a person who tested positive had traveled from the U.S. to Guatemala. A person with the Beef Alliance sent an email to about 24 people alerting them to the confirmed case. So there's up to 24 people that could have contracted this larva. It is a flesh-eating parasitic blowfly. It lives on the living tissue of warm-blooded animals. So I'm going to have to say this is like another, this is flesh eating, so it's a little bit worse than, is it a bot fly? I think it's a bot fly. If you look up a bot fly, they also burrow into the skin and they grow and then they hatch. It's relatively disgusting. And if you're into like pimple popper, you'd probably be into it. It's really just right around that, right in that alley. You know what I mean? But this one here actually, you know, the botfly doesn't eat your flesh. I think it just lives off of your fluids or something. But I mean, this one actually lives off of your tissue. Holy shit. So it's a very, very aggressive fucking botfly. That's terrible, everybody. That's terrible. Nobody needs this. This is gross. We don't need... See, these are the things we don't need. How do we eradicate the bugs? I'm sorry. I don't want it. It's fine. You got to have honeybees. You got to have this. You got to have that. Do we have to have mosquitoes? Do we have to have these little black flies that come out of the grass in the mid-afternoon after I mow and just bite me to death? Do we need those? Right? Do we need wasps and hornets and what's that other hornet that came out? Do we need those? Do we need all of those? Because if we don't, could we just clean it up a little bit? You know? Let's get rid of some of these things that we don't necessarily need. But somebody would tell me, every single living thing is part of the ecosystem, and if you get rid of one thing, you change everything. No, I get it, but I mean, that's so gross, man. That's so gross. Flesh eating, basically botfly. Pretty gross. Pretty gross, everybody. That's where we're at today. But here, let's check out what's going on with Operation Often. Oh, man, we're looking into some paranormal stuff here. But this one, I do believe, was government issued.
This thing called Operation Often, and it was hidden from the majority of government until 1975 to 77. The FBI director basically destroyed all evidence of MK Ultra. So in December of 2024, they just released 1,200 documents, gave more light to this thing called Operation Often. Operation Often was a joint U.S. Army and CIA project launched in the late 1960s. They went full in on hiring Satanists, witches to study and see if they could weaponize the paranormal. This is not made up. These documents came out saying that they were doing this. There are even reports that this program had files on spiritual possessions, poltergeist activity, and demonic entities.
Bro,
this is the U.S. government saying, like, let's research this and see if we can weaponize it.
They're looking at spirituality as like a science to be like harnessed.
because they know it's real. People think black magic, witchcraft, all this stuff is baloney. But I'm like, if the government, they've been looking, now they're like, now we're going to conduct a study on it.
This was at the height of the Cold War paranoia. So they're like just trying to figure out anything to weaponize.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything our government hasn't tried to weaponize? You don't think for one moment when we were burning witches and doing all these things that some people weren't like, well, why don't we, if we're just going to kill them, why don't you give them to me and I'll see if I can figure out how this is happening? I mean, we do it as a human species. Well, forever we've been doing it, right? Because if you really want to look at something kind of dark, look into how we got as advanced as we are with our medical industry. You will find out that it has a very, very dark history for the advances that we now have today. And let's just say, you know, not everybody was a willing patient. So is it far-fetched to think that this would happen with anything that somebody feels is unexplainable? You have to bring somebody in that can try to figure it out. And, you know, I mean, The CIA, the government, they're so sneaky. Mostly the CIA. I think anything with their name on it is highly, highly questionable. Like anything with those 3 letters on it, gotta question everything about it. So, this doesn't sound far-fetched at all. It sounds right up their alley. You know what I mean? Crazy. So, we're gonna discuss a little bit more into the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. I found this to be interesting.
The theory that President Lincoln was assassinated by the Rothschilds.
Oh, yeah.
The Rothschilds, they were basically sold the Confederate banknotes in Europe, so they're supporting the Confederates.
No way.
And because Abraham Lincoln wanted to get rid of the European banking system and make it the U.S. banking system.
The craziest thing about the Civil War that nobody ever talks about was Russia's role in the Civil War. And what happened was that the Russians had just kicked the Rothschilds out, the banking cabal out, and they had heard that, basically they were trying to do the same thing in America. And Alexander, I think it was, actually sent Russian Navy to our borders. And you can actually see pictures of Russian troops with northern troops as well. So, and that's a big reason because Spain and France and Britain were about to come in on the side of the South.
I mean, this is adding up to the Rothschild banking system.
And some history that will never be told to you.
Don't learn that in elementary school.
Not a chance. That's why.
All history is a lie.
Yeah, I mean, it's written by the winners, right?
It's written by the winners, and it's there to basically form a group agreement that these people are the good guys and these people are the bad guys, and that's just how it's been done. And when everyone goes, dude, is everything a conspiracy? 100%.
Yep, everything. 100% agreed. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, I love Sam Tripoli. I mean, if it wasn't for him and Eddie Bravo over 13 years ago, I would have never, been so interested in this. And, having so many people that were into it so much more than I was has just made this so much more fun. And yes, everything is a conspiracy because it's written by the winners. They're telling you how it is. That's what I'm saying. It's all about the banking system. It's all about the Rothschilds. Holy shit, man. It's all there. How? I don't think we can ever correct it. I don't, but it's there, isn't it? Everything links back to that. Lincoln was taking on the Confederate dollar because he wanted to make it the American dollar, the U.S. dollar, not the Rothschilds banking system that they wanted to implement. And Russia kicked them out? Russia was actually on our side? I am telling you, man, on the wrong side of everything. But is it because the Rothschilds made it this way? They wanted this so bad. Dude, if this is even remotely true, we would never be in the wars or the conflict with Russia that we are. Because Russia didn't want the banking system either. So again, another dictator keeping out a financial system that is breaking all of us. Does this not sound familiar? I think I've discussed it a few times now. Gaddafi. This is fucking nuts, people. This is nuts. All right. I'm going to get a little bit into this. We'll move through it. I don't have too much to say except for the simple fact that I have been calling mental health issues. I don't think that everybody going through this has mental health issues. But I believe the amount of people that are doing this, a majority of them have mental issues. Okay? So that's the best way that I can put it for myself. Now, that being said, there is a lot of evidence that is showing that these school shootings that are happening, there's a lot more linked to it than I thought. So I'm going to let this speak for itself.
The Denver shooter was trans, the Aberdeen shooter was trans, the Nashville shooter was trans, the Georgia shooter was trans, the Philadelphia shooter was trans, the Uvalde shooter was trans, the Colorado shooter was trans, and now the Minnesota shooter was trans. I think one of the things that you see being pointed out by the Walsh types is that even if there is no clear ideology, there is something in the water with the untouchable nature of the trans identity until just the past really year that you could even talk about it frankly, and what appears to be a kind of underlying mental instability that tends to disproportionately give rise to these school shootings.
Yep, 100%. Look, everybody, there's a difference between, just being mentally ill, right? Depression, anxiety, it's all mental. It's all mental. So it's considered mental illness. And the mental illness that is being discussed here. This is, I believe that a lot of this is because of social media. I believe a lot of this is because of places like, somebody told me the name of it, and it's Twitch, but it's like the gutter. And Kick? I think it's called Kick or something. I don't know. I've never heard of it. I'm fucking old. I got no use for it. I guess terrible things happen on this, and they stream them live, and whoever runs the platform literally does not take anything down. So I'm thankful for that because, well, I don't encourage half of the things I heard are happening on these streams, but at least there's a place for these people to go. But I guess it's everybody that gets kicked off of Twitch. They go to Kick, and they don't get anything taken down. Basically, Kick is Rumble. That's what I use. When I can't say or do things, I put it up there because they allow everything. We need more platforms that allow everything, but I think you should draw the line at like self-inflicted harm and violence and possible death. I think there's a line you should draw. I'm just saying. If there was ever going to be one, I'm pretty sure that's the one you're supposed to draw at. I don't think talking and all the other things that at least I do, I don't think any of that needs to be censored at all. But there's certain things I've heard happen on that channel that probably should not be seen. But hey, who am I to judge? You watch whatever the fuck you want to watch. That's the world we're in today. That's why we all put up our own content. But this, it does show you a lot about the correlation between all of these shootings. And I don't believe in coincidence. So, is it possible that something is... It's more, right? Because maybe they're trying to fit in, And they found out that, hey, this is where I can fit in. And then they do it, and they still don't fit in. Because you didn't change. You didn't change. You changed the way you look, right? You changed the way you dress. But you the person, did not change. So you're still the same person. So people don't see the different you. They see the same person who looks different. And I'm sure that fucks with people's heads. Right? So I don't believe there's as many people having to do this as they want us to believe there are. And unfortunately, category 1, which I was talking about earlier, and category 2, that I just talked about, is where I believe the majority of the people are. They're either using it to their advantage, or they did it because they felt like they were going to get something more out of it. The percentage that are trapped in the wrong body, I don't believe it's as large as they portray it. It's just, it can't be. It's never that large of a party. It's never. It's always less. It's always less. So even the percentage that they tell us is a lie. You know what I mean? So this guy here has got some AI surveillance that is going to be for America because of these school shootings. I'm going to say this, and I really am hoping that it doesn't happen, but I don't think this should happen. This guy should be stopped. I don't know how you're going to stop him, but he should be stopped. This is not something that's good. This is going to be terrible. This is what they did after 9/11, where they allowed them to look into our phones and everything else. It's going to be AI driven. Access to everything. Basically, I think they're already doing it in Canada, where it's pre-screening people to predict whether or not you're going to do something bad. What the fuck are we talking about? This is not Minority Report. So, no, this is bad. But we got to listen to it. We got to listen to it. We must be aware of everything going on around us. I'm telling you today, you have to be aware. Listen to this fucking bullshit. After yesterday's shooting, Fox News immediately platformed a former member of the Israeli military to push the need for full spectrum AI surveillance for all of America. His firm is backed by Palantir. Do you remember what I said about Palantir? Palantir was the thought control, the jugular, where it was going to embed into your brain so you could use your phone. So this is an Israeli-backed AI that is going to monitor America? Again, everybody, I'm going to try and stay calm here. This makes me so angry. We need to stop allowing other countries to buy and sell us, period, and or implement another country's AI surveillance into our country to surveil us. This is insane. We have to hear this out, though, because I have to hear about everything. I think we all should. But think about this. This is insane. You don't think they have a back fucking door on this thing? Holy shit. Let's give it a listen.
Correct. I am now about to launch Gideon, America's first ever AI threat detection platform built specifically for law enforcement. It scrapes the internet 24/7 using an Israeli-grade ontology to pull specific threat language and then routes it to local law enforcement. It's a 24/7 detective. It never sleeps, and it's going to get us in front of these attacks.
Would it have picked up on this, do you think?
100%. I wish my program would already be up. We're not launching until next week. I've got a dozen agencies on board, Trace. I just unloaded a major Northeast agency with over 2,700 sworn. This is America's early warning system.
Lieutenant Mark
Evans. Correct.
No, I don't think it should be. I do not want Gideon. Gideon, you had to use that name, didn't you? He's my favorite character on NCIS. No. Oh my God, Criminal Minds. What am I talking about? Oh my God. Yeah, Gideon was from Criminal Minds. Holy shit. That was a long time ago. Nope, I don't think we should take this. I think it's the wrong way to go about it. I don't think we should take anything from Israel. Just like I said, we shouldn't have taken that plane from Qatar. Let's just stop it. Let's just stop it. I'm telling you right now, the people who are our friends, I don't think we are really high up on their friend list. I just don't. I don't. So, I found something else. Now, this looks AI generated, but I do believe what is coming up here, they are selling something, and I will be upfront with you. I don't know if it's a good product, and I'm not saying to buy this product. I'm not promoting this product. So if you've ever had the shot, you want to listen to this, all right? That's who this is for. So that's why I say this it has me worried, because unfortunately, as much positive information that I have found out about detoxing from this protein, I guess I don't even think it's a protein personally, but detoxing from this thing is next to impossible. If you do X, Y, and Z, you have a very good chance of it being depleted from your system naturally. So I've got, you're doomed to, you can clean yourself out information in my head. This is just another thing to add to it, to think about, to look into, because I do believe that we need to look at this as something we need to detox from. I really, really do. All right?
And I don't care if you don't have any symptoms or complications, you need to hear this. A peer-reviewed study published in 2024 in Microorganisms led by Professor Marco Alessandria from the University of Turin found that people who received 2 doses of lost 37% of life expectancy compared to the unvaccinated individuals during a 2-year follow-up period. And this is not a theory. This was calculated using restricted mean time lost, the most reliable life expectancy measurement. The authors clearly stated subject vaccinated with 2 doses lost 37% of life expectancy compared to the unvaccinated population. And the effect appears progressive according to data confirmed by the Cleveland Clinic and the CDC data analysis. So for example, if you are 30 today and you had 2 or more shots, your projected lifespan may now be 50 to 55 years. And the risk does not go away. The spike protein and its damage persist long after the injection. So the question now, what can we do? It's simple. You need to do a spike protein detox to help your body get rid of this invader. And this is based on Dr. McCullough protocol, which contains 3 simple supplements: curcumin, nattokinase, and bromelain. And I would add to that vitamin D, omega-3, exercise, sweating, and a healthy diet.
So I got the last part of it down. I got the omega, I got the vitamin D, I got the sweat, and I do activities. but not their detox. But I do believe in the detox, and there are lots of them out there now, so do be wary of what you're buying. But like I said, if I could recommend a direction for you to go in for a product like this, go to Dr. Drew. That is my recommendation. I don't think it can hurt me at this point. I don't think it's going to hurt me at this point to just do a simple detox to maybe see if I can eliminate more. Egg yolks, nicotine, exercise, the vitamin D, my levels are perfect. One of these days I may bring it on here. I keep forgetting. And the omega-3, I take that every day. So I feel like the only thing I'm missing is something to help me detox it. So you can do more to cleanse from that and get it out of your system. Tons and tons of research is coming out today. So look more into it. There's many studies coming out now. Many. Let's see here. This man was found dead after revealing too much about them. Who's them? Right? This them that we're talking about right now, is shapeshifters, lizard people. The thing that I have a lot of trouble believing in. So I have a lot of trouble believing in a lot of things, people. If you are just believing any of this, I think, that's okay. You can do that. I don't put my belief into a lot. So, this is just fun. It's fun because, like I said, everything that has to do with shapeshifters and lizard people is usually old and grainy. Well, this one's no different. So let's dig in. Let's see what this gentleman has to say, because supposedly he went dead after talking about him. So what did he reveal?
There are certain sounds. There is a certain sound that they cannot stand, that they panic and they run away from. I know They Live, and in the movie They Live, and in They Live, there is a sound, there is a frequency, I don't know if you remember it towards the end, that Roddy Piper goes to, and it's a frequency that's being beamed out, which enables these aliens to look in human form. And when he breaks this frequency, then they're all it alters the holographic projection that they're keeping. And I think it's a misconception that they are actually shape-shifting. Some are, but it's a misconception. What they're actually doing is altering your visual cortex to make you think you're seeing them that way.
Absolutely, yes.
And this is very important as well, because you can that's the truth. They're not actually looking that way. They've just manipulated your mind to think that they are.
And that must work through all kind of visual media. Otherwise, you'd see a lot of these aliens walking around on TV.
Absolutely, yeah. I've noticed a lot of newsreaders, because they're doing that as an indoctrination and conditioning. If you look at newsreaders, because they're the ones who are in your house every day, look carefully at the newsreaders. It's slowly drip, conditioning you to accept.
BBC is the worst, I think.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I've noticed since we've changed to digital now, my senses have become extremely heightened, and even when I'm just listening to the TV, or even when you turn the volume down, I hear this.
So he just admitted to hearing a humming, some type of a noise that was unnoticeable while we were all watching the TVs. So it was a signal coming in through the TVs, allowing them to alter our minds into seeing them as people and not lizard people. And they are not actually shapeshifters at all. So does that mean the videos that have been seen, even though they were granular and totally trash, somehow broke that barrier, and you're not actually seeing them change shape, but you're actually seeing what they actually look like, because at that one moment in time, they weren't capable of keeping that signal. Okay. All right, well, that's different. But how do you manipulate everybody around you? All at the same time? Let's just say there's one lizard person, and outside in a crowded, I would just want to say like the street where there's like a round fountain, and you've got stores and restaurants and all this stuff and cars and parking and all the things going on, right? People on bikes. It's a summer, beautiful day. Lots of shit going on. One shapeshifter in the middle of everything controls all, moving in, out, and around it from one single hum or tone. Magic's difficult to believe in, people. I know most of it's just a trick. So, sounds like magic. I don't know. I don't think this guy died. I think he's alive and well. What is with the Egyptian temples in Arizona? All right. Now, I talked about the Grand Canyon a long time ago. Rogan brings it up, and everybody's going to find out what the fuck is going on with the Grand Canyon. Well, I think I talked about it 3 years ago now. I do think it's weird. You get shunned away. You're not allowed in. Black Hawk helicopters show up. It's fucking wild. There is some shit hidden in there, some artifacts that supposedly, were never supposed to be here. And they're here. Why? Because everything's older than what they told us. Everything is way older. I saw something the other day, and it was like the beginning of time, 6,000 years ago. What a crock of shit.
The whole Grand Canyon thing is bananas. Like, there's areas of the Grand Canyon you cannot explore.
You cannot go. You cannot fly over.
Right.
And you can't fly under the rim. Yet when you go to those bad places, suddenly a white plane flies over under the rim, black helicopters show up. I showed on my episode. I show the black helicopters showing up. Like, they do show.
Yeah. Like, they are protecting something.
Something.
It's not as simple as this is a dangerous area, because you can go to any dangerous area.
You go just to the normal tourist area. It's like, be careful. People fall. 2 people a year fall.
Yeah, someone fell recently.
They did?
Yeah, an influencer. Of course, taking a selfie. But the Grand Canyon, there's been these crazy stories of people finding these these caverns with like Egyptian artwork and hieroglyphics and these stories of artifacts that have been removed from there.
So the story is, it shows up, I believe, in like the Phoenix Gazette. It's 1903 or so. And the explorer is G.E. Kincaid, and he's going down, he's looking for gold deposits or whatever. This is just before Teddy Roosevelt made the Grand Canyon a preserve. He was a naturalist. So he finds these steps that are clearly man-made. He follows the steps up, and there's a cave, and he goes in there, and he describes hieroglyphics that look Egyptian but are not quite. He finds a statue that he describes as like Buddha-like, not Egyptian, not human, but sort of like Buddha, and all these weapons, shields, gold, all sorts of stuff. He keeps going. He finds a deserted city in the caves, and all these tunnels and caverns go everywhere, and he's trying to map everything. He comes out, and he goes back to town, and he gathers together a group that we're going to go find this stuff again. And people are excited about it. And a couple of weeks go by, and everyone's gathered to go on the expedition. He never shows. The expedition goes nowhere, and that's really the last we've heard of it.
Really? And is there any photographs or anything? No.
There never is of this stuff.
Right. Just descriptions?
Just a great story.
Well, the great part of the story is the fact that you actually can't go there. And the idea that there's an area where the military is protecting people from being foolish, that doesn't make any sense.
Nobody asks why.
Right.
Like, nobody asks why. It really bothers me about that story and all of these, whether it's disclosure or whatever. I don't hear anyone asking why. Well, they won't let us. Well, who's they?
Right.
Someone's in charge of stuff that's not the president.
Right.
Or Congress.
Oh, Grand Canyon.
So, yeah, man. I mean, that shit is wild. Nobody will let you in. A city under it. It sounds like a pyramid. But there weren't supposed to be pyramids here. That's because they want you to believe that the world and everything is the way they told you it is. This is where the truth is. In what they're hiding. Do you really think they give a shit if somebody falls from a fucking mountain? People do it all the time. I think as of this recording today, a week ago, somebody died on Mount Washington. It happens all the time. They don't give a shit about anybody falling off of this thing. They're keeping you out of there because it's got something to tell us. It's weird. I believe a couple weeks ago we found out that, or maybe a month ago now, we found out that something was found, but then all of a sudden, war was started and artifacts disappear. And all of a sudden, we don't talk about it anymore. It's weird how that history just vanished. But don't worry about it because it really wasn't history anyways. It had nothing to do with anything. Boy, oh boy, does that not sound familiar? And man, does that not have me ask why? Who are they? And what's in there? All right, so there are secret government caves. Now, these are the underground military bases. This shit is fucking real, everybody. This is not fake. They do have entrances, though, and eventually we're gonna find them. And this looks like what I've always imagined them and where I always imagined them, somewhere off the fucking highway. It makes the most sense. This is so cool.
Right. They asked me to show you if this is a subtropolis. You don't know about this place. Show the outside of this place. It's got this fake truck stop right here. Look, let me show you. Brand new Pilot PJ Fresh, so you know it's new. This is all the truck parking there is here. This truck stop ain't meant for sleeping.
Huh.
I'll show you what's on the back side of this truck stop.
I don't understand this. How does it get?
This is what they don't show you. Look.
How does he not get stopped?
It goes right into the caves. You go through the truck stop, and you get into these caves that go any country.
What?
Any country you can get to these caves. I'll take you to the entrance. I tried to get fuel here once in the truck, and I can't get a fuel card that'll work here.
What?
It's not for sleeping. That place right there, it's not for sleeping. It's for fueling up and going over here. Look, I'll show you these flags of every country you can get to through this tunnel. That's the entrance right there.
Yep.
I've been in there before, but security chased me. There's security right there too. But look at all the countries you can get to from inside that cave. From inside this cave here too.
Why would they have all those flags there?
All these countries you can get to from right here. Inside there. I've been in it before. I wanted to film in there, so I brought my wife and my kids with me so they wouldn't arrest me. They just thought we were looking for something cool to look at. It goes in all the way, miles and miles, and then it breaks off. There's stores, there's everything you need down there. Right there. And someone's coming right there.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they'll chase you out. They don't talk about this place out there. They don't talk about the fake truck stop. Fake railroad tracks right here. This gate closes here. There's 2 different gates here. There's like a little gate there you'd see in a house, and then there's gates here. It's really weird. If you try to park your truck right there, there's a security guard right there in that police thing. They won't let you park your truck there unless you can prove you got business. How do you prove that? Gotta get to work.
Dude, is that not wild? Think about it. They have to have an opening somewhere. They have to have their entrances somewhere. So why not a fake truck stop? Because then you don't have to have fake fuel. It's just not an actual business. It's just a holding tank, right? And then now everybody working in and out of the tunnels can come out and get fuel. But is that because in these massive underground things, we don't have a place to store fuel underground? Or maybe that's just an excess tank. I don't know. Who cares? He couldn't get the gas. You saw the entrances. Although, very good idea to bring the kids and the wife. Make sure you can't get arrested. I'm just driving around. But everything about it, though, the gates, all the flags. Have you ever seen anything like that? I never have. You don't. The only time I see anything like that is like, you know, I think we see stuff like that at at like Six Flags, at amusement parks, and where they have almost all the things going on all over the world. Disney, I'm sure, has tons of the flag. You know what I mean? That's where you see that type of stuff. You don't see that stuff on that's basically, the side of a hill, right? It's just rock. But yet it has an entrance and it's got a lot of flags on it. So if that is an entrance where you can get to any one of those countries, wow. And I'm curious, is it faster than driving or flying? Like, well, obviously you have to drive that, right? So is it faster? Because, man, give us a shortcut. Wouldn't you like to take that route? I'd pay for that route. I'd be like, oh, all right, I can get there this fast. Cool. I don't have to get on a plane. This is awesome. All right, everybody. I have been having fun with these ones. I'm trickling them in now and then when they pop up. But Mary Poppins is Pennywise? I mean, lots of things linked up. I thought it was kind of fun, so I figured we'd check it out.
Mary Poppins and Pennywise are the same creature. Not similar, not opposite, the same, not in metaphor, not in theme, in function. It doesn't visit, it selects. It appears when the house has gone quiet, when the surviving parent stops coming upstairs, when the dishes pile in the sink, when the hallway light is left on for too many nights in a row. It watches long before it moves. And when it comes in a form the child will not question. Sometimes a woman with perfect posture and white gloves. Sometimes a clown with a crooked grin. Both smiling, both already inside the house. It speaks only to the child. It knows the child's name without being told. It offers comfort, stories, games, promises, not affection, attachment, just enough to be missed. It never stays long. It disappears before anyone can ask where it came from. And by then, the child is already changed. Sometimes they become quiet. Sometimes they vanish. Sometimes they're found sitting alone, whispering to something no one else sees. The adults call it a fantasy, a phase, but the pattern doesn't break. In 1956, a girl in London described a nanny who flew. In 1989, a boy in Maine said the clown came through the drain. They use different names, but they drew the same face. It isn't good. It isn't evil. It just waits until the child is ready.
I don't know about you, man, but that gives me goosebumps. It creeps me out. That's crazy. It's just an entity that fulfills a gap that a child is having. It can be the clown, it can be the woman, but either way, it's based off of the same emotion. It just depends on what the child dictates what they're seeing, but they're the same. But you always saw Mary Poppins as this bright and cheerful part of everything, and Pennywise as this dark entity of death, right? Torture. But if they're the same, then she can be just as dark as we think of Pennywise, and Pennywise can technically be as bright as Mary Poppins. Huh. For me, that's kind of cool and creepy all at the same time. All right. Well, on that note, everybody. All right. I just want to, I just think it's fun. I think it's fun to play with all of these things, to think of all the things I used to think of in a particular way are all being blown up today. So, let's just blow up everything. It's so much fun. Maybe not the best words to be using at this time on this timeline. But I do want to say thank you to all of my subscribers out there. You're the reason I keep coming back week after week. If you're new, remember to subscribe. You want an opportunity to be a guest, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. Send an audio, video, or type it out. Linktree is in the link below. Check out all the links from today's podcast. Don't forget about the mailbox guys. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. And Cryptid and Kin. Check them out on Instagram. All right. And on that note, everybody, I hope you have an enjoyable rest of your Thursday. I hope you enjoy your weekend. And as always, I will talk to you next week.